What's up, everybody? Doing another Castlevania playthrough today. And today I'm going to be trying my hand at Dracula's Curse. This is probably my second favorite Castlevania game behind the first one for the NES. And right off the bat, I'm going to be start when if you enter your name as Help Me, then you get 10 lives. You start off with 10 lives instead of the usual 3. And trust me, you're going to need those 10 lives and maybe more because this game is very difficult. It is much harder than the original Castlevania game, and that game is a tough one. So that's saying something. You play as Trevor Belmont in Dracula's Curse. He is an ancestor of Simon, who is the main character in the first 2 games. And he controls the exact same way, uses the exact same weapons, and pretty much looks the exact same with a few subtle differences. This game is very unique in the NES Castlevania trilogy in that there are multiple paths that you can take to get to Dracula, and there are three side characters that you encounter along the way that you can either take with you or leave and just play the game as Trevor. I'm going to be using Sypha in this playthrough. She is the best character in the game, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the paths that lead to her, and I'll be using her for probably the majority of the game. But the 3 characters that you encounter along the way are a pirate named Grant who can climb on walls, and he's very fast and he jumps very high, but his weapon is a dagger that you have to be very close to the enemies to use. In the Japanese version, he can actually throw the dagger, but in this game it stays in his hand and it has very short range. The second character is Sypha, who is a sorceress. She is a master of magic, and her magic is very potent, very useful in the game, especially with the boss battles. But the downside to her is she doesn't jump very high. She's very slow. Her melee weapon is a staff, and you also have to get very close to the enemies to use it. And she takes damage. She takes damage very easily. She takes more damage than Trevor does. And the third character is Alucard, the son of Dracula, the main character of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is his first video game appearance in the Castlevania series. And Alucard is very useful in that you can bypass certain parts of certain levels with his ability to turn into a bat and fly. Other than that, Alucard is kind of useless, in my opinion, in terms of fighting most enemies and bosses. The only exception for me would be the Grim Reaper's second form in this game. Alucard does do a lot of damage to that particular boss. Alucard's path in the game is also much longer and a lot harder. You have to play a couple of extra levels to get to him and several extra levels after you get him. So the game is longer depending on which character you encounter and which paths you take. If you do manage to play through this game and complete it, you will not see everything the game has to offer unless you encounter all 3 side characters and take all the paths. So I'm at the first boss battle here, which is this skeleton / minotaur knight. I'm not sure what to call it, but it looks sort of like a minotaur skeleton with a sword or a shield. And I just basically whip frantically at him until he's no more. It's pretty easy to take out. And that's level 1. Coming up, it is going to give us the option on our first path to take, and I will be taking the lower path. The higher path takes you to the clock tower where you encounter Grant. I won't be doing that one. Taking the lower path. And here we go. We are continuing on our way to find Sypha, who is actually imprisoned in a statue. It's guarded by a Cyclops. These Castlevania games are heavily inspired by the Universal Monsters and Hammer horror films, but they do occasionally take inspiration from mythology, especially Greek mythology, with the Medusas and various other monsters that appear in Greek mythology. If you've seen the Castlevania animated series on Netflix, the first series, just entitled Castlevania, the story for that series was based on this game, although a lot had to be added to it because this game doesn't have very much story. Castlevania Nocturne, which is the second series in the Castlevania animated series, was based on Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which is another great game in the series. Personally, I prefer this game over Rondo of Blood, but both are excellent games. Very difficult games, both of them. I just really love the ability to use multiple characters, and I'm a big fan of the NES graphics. I grew up playing the NES, but I never could beat any of these games as a kid. They're very difficult even now as an adult. These bone pillars are some real nuisances, as are these flea men. Making our way down, we will be encountering our second boss very soon. There's a wall meat. And we are at another pathway to take. The lower path will take you on the way to find Alucard. I'm taking the higher path, which will take us to Sypha. There's that bird. I want to keep the cross or the boomerang, whichever one you prefer to call it. I prefer it over the axe. I actually only prefer the axe as a sub-weapon at the very end of the game. That is the way that I will fight Dracula. I will get the axe and get the triple shot, and it makes that boss battle much easier. That is the way I prefer to fight Dracula. Collect some hearts here. Our heart counter is at 55, so we've got plenty of hearts. One trick that I can show you is and I just found it, was the double shot. If you throw your sub weapon at these candles and at these torches, anything that gives hearts that way, if you throw your sub weapon at them, you can cause the double shot and then the triple shot to appear much more frequently, and that is the way it is in the original Castlevania game as well. Watch out for these spiders that come down randomly, and they throw their webs at you. There's the triple shot. As you can see, throwing my sub-weapon at those candles causes the double shot and triple shot to appear, and that will definitely come in handy against the Cyclops here. And that statue in the middle is actually the character that we're looking for, which is Sypha. She's imprisoned in the statue. Oh, I really don't need to do that. Cyclops, and we will see Sypha come out of statue, collect the wall meat. I didn't need it because I'm at the end of the level, but collected it anyway. We haven't gotten a new Castlevania game in a number of years. Our last one was Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. And I loved the Lords of Shadow series. I actually wish that they would do another one. I really love the revamp of the Castlevania series in that one. So, I am taking Sypha. There is a mistake in the English translation. On the English version of this game, they refer to Sypha when you meet her as a him, but Sypha is a female, and that will be confirmed at the end of the game. One of my favorite levels of the game, the Ghost Ship. So you hit select, and that's how you swap characters. You can only have one extra character with you at a time, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it is. And there we have Sypha's first spell, which is the fire spell. It's operates the same way as Trevor's sub-weapon. You just collect it as you would his sub-weapon, and the hearts do use... I screwed that up. Meant to jump. And unfortunately, I've also lost my cross and my triple shot. But it's okay. This level is really creepy. I love the creepy music. Okay, so we got our whip upgraded again. Got the stopwatch. I don't use the stopwatch really at all. I just I didn't time that right. Okay, I'm starting to get a little reckless here. I gotta start to really buckle down and stop making these stupid mistakes. Invincibility urn. Switch to Sypha and see what we can find in terms of spells. Well, I have it. I might as well use it. Stop time to kill these skeletons. I much prefer Sypha's ice magic over the fire, and I prefer the lightning magic over either. As you can see, her staff is very short, and it does not deal much damage. You have to hit enemies multiple times. Now the magic, on the other hand, one shot. Magic is very powerful. The lightning magic deals lots of damage, and it actually has a sort of heat-seeking property to it, and that it will seek out enemies. And that comes in very handy. This level has two bosses. It has a mid-boss, which is Medusa, and I think the main boss of this level is the Frankenstein monster. The Frankenstein monster actually appears in two different paths of this game. The second time you will be, again, when you go to take the path of Alucard, and he is actually a lot tougher. So we got to do some platforming here. Make sure we get across before those platforms go all the way down, or we won't make the jump and fall to our deaths. Okay, we got some more platforming to do here. Jump here, jump here. The mid-boss is here. This is Medusa. If you have the fire spell, the fire does a lot of damage to her. I can stop taking hits, and four hits with the fire and she's toast. I do recommend, if you are playing this for the first time, your first playthrough, and you're getting to know the game, I do recommend playing this, taking this route and using Sypha, because her magical abilities make this game I'm not going to say easier, but her magic is definitely a big ace to have on your first playthrough. I don't recommend taking the path to get Alucard until you get more familiar with the game, because his path is, as I said earlier, it is much more difficult. And Alucard himself, other than having the ability to turn into a bat and fly around certain areas, he's sort of, in my opinion, he's just kind of useless. Don't expect to play with Alucard and have the same experience that you would in Symphony of the Night. It is definitely not the same. He does not have all those powers and weapons and such. This is an NES game after all. Okay, we are almost at the main boss of the level. Let's collect some more hearts. Oh no, the boss of this level is the twin mummies and another Cyclops, excuse me. But we have the fire, and it does do a lot of damage will do a lot of damage to these mummies, as you can see. A couple of fire blasts and they are done. Fire does do a lot of damage to the Cyclops as well. When he stops, and that means he will break into a run, and he will overcome you as you're running away from him. So you have to be careful of that. Just use the platforms on either side of the screen. And that's the bosses of this level. We will fight the twin mummies, the Cyclops again later on, with a third boss after those two are defeated. So these two we'll see again later. Okay, now the game's difficulty is going to start getting a little ramped up. It does get more difficult as the game goes on, but now we're going to start to see a difference. Lots of instant deaths can happen on this level. You will fall very easily. Start to see the gargoyles. They are like the Medusa heads, but they will sway up and down at a much higher and lower than the Medusa heads. If you time it, you can catch them just like that. Doing good so far. We haven't been hit yet. Make it to the top of this staircase would be okay. All right. These Axe Knights take a lot of hits, but with the fire, they aren't too tough. Wall meat if you happen to need it. I haven't taken any damage so far, so we're doing good. Watch out for these little fuzz balls, and as I say that, I get hit. If you have Sypha's freeze magic, you can actually freeze these things and destroy them. Now I have to know what's in that candle. And that is what this happens to be, is the freeze magic. As you can see, I can now destroy these. I ended up taking a lot of damage to get that, but the ice magic is very useful. You can destroy almost all the enemies in this game with one strike with the ice magic. This is the first of our levels that will scroll. They scroll up. There's several more levels in the game like this. And that's the end of the scrolling. Not too bad. The ones in later in the game are a little more difficult. I want to go over here. Oh, I got caught. I want to go over to the left there, past those where those gargoyles are, because the lightning magic is actually there, and that's what I want to get. Trying to be very careful not to take any damage here. Unfortunately, I lost all my hearts. I had a pretty high heart count, and then I died. I tend to get a little ahead of myself when I'm doing these kinds of screens because I want to hurry and get to the top, but I end up, you have to be very careful so you don't climb the steps and run into one of those knights. You can't see them oftentimes until it's too late if you are trying to stay way ahead of the screen. It took me a long time to be able to actually complete this game. Much longer than it did for me to be able to do the first game, because first of all, this game is longer, but the difficulty is just so much higher. And there's the lightning magic, and I'll show you what it does now. See it? She throws out 3 balls of power, magic, and they will keep flying around until they hit something usually. And they do seek out whatever enemy is on the screen. Okay, the next screen after this one is pretty difficult, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through without dying. And I hope I can make it through, because I want to keep the lightning magic, and I will lose it if I die here. It will start me back. If I die, it will start me back right here, and I won't be able to go back and get the lightning magic. So, fingers crossed. We have to time this. Try to time this as best we can, not to get hit by the fireballs, and the lightning magic will eventually take out these. Oh, I got caught. Very easy to do. Just want to try and be really careful now because I only have one more time to get hit and then I will die. So I'm not even going to chance this. I'm going to stand right here and use the lightning to kill this bone pillar. If you don't have the lightning magic with Sypha, this screen can be very difficult to traverse. Right, that should be more, and this should be end of this screen. Okay. Took a lot of hearts to do that, but we are almost to the final boss of the level, which I grabbed the fire magic, and that's fine because the fire does do a lot of damage. Yes, this is the Frankenstein monster. Okay, so I found a wall meat, and here we go. He will stomp the ground and cause these blocks to fly or drop down at you, and he will also throw blocks at you. And they can be kind of difficult to dodge. But the fire does a lot of damage. As the monster himself says in The Bride of Frankenstein, fire bad. Fire no good. That's what he says, fire no good. Does not like fire. So he didn't like that fire. He did not like the fire of Sypha. And moving on, we are... I believe this is the level where the water dragon boss is. So I want to switch to Trevor now. I want to get my whip upgraded. Actually, I'm going to switch back to Sypha. Take out this axe knight with the fire. Man, that does so much damage. It takes 8 hits with Trevor's whip, even when it's fully upgraded, to take out that axe knight, but she can take him out. Oh, got an extra life. She can take him out with 4 hits with the fire. This water can be really difficult to deal with, so I'm going to switch back to Sypha, and we got some birds and some mermen to deal with here. Oh. Oh, that bird got me before I had a chance to get it. The ice magic should be right here. Yeah, here we go. And the ice magic will freeze the water so you can actually walk on the water. This water, in the way that it flows, it will push you back, so you're walking against the direction that the water is flowing. Some resistance there. Okay, we made it past that. There should be an axe knight at the bottom of this. Yeah, here we go. Had some technical difficulties, guys. I had to redo my microphone setup. Oh, that's unfortunate. Lost all my hearts, but at least I got my freeze magic. The freeze magic will come in very handy in this level. There'll be some bone pillars and axe knights later on that will... This will come in really handy in dealing with them. And that area is right here, as a matter of fact. We're going to have several of these bone pillar dragons and several axe knights to deal with here. And this freeze magic will hopefully not let me down. I just have to not get knocked back and... Ooh, dodged a bullet there. Okay, so we made it past those. Now we gotta get past these axe knights and do it very carefully because I am down to my last couple of bars of life. Okay, that's the fire. I don't want the fire. Oh no. Well, I tried to stay out of the way, but unfortunately I got caught. And now I don't have the ice. And that sucks. I'm right back to the same amount of life I had before. I never claimed to be an expert. And there should be some wall meat right here. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to have to do a series of jumps here. The most difficult jump in the game is just up ahead. And it's right here. You have to be at the very, very edge, and or you won't make that jump. These skeletons are a pain in the ass, and their reach is pretty significant. Okay, we're going to have another scrolling screen. This time it scrolls down. I want to get over here because I want to get the lightning, which should be, yeah, right there. And these blocks also will fall out from under you. As you can see, they are breaking as I stand on them, so you have to watch for that. Okay. And remember I said earlier we would have to fight the twin mummies and the Cyclops again later on with a third boss, and here that particular boss battle is, but I have the lightning magic, so this is going to make this fight a whole lot easier. I can just stay up here and fire the lightning at them, and I don't know why they call it the lightning magic. I mean, that's not lightning, that's like blue raspberry bubblegum balls or something. But it makes this boss battle a lot easier. Okay, I want to switch back to Trevor here because I don't want to waste the remaining hearts that I have on the Cyclops, even though I only have the leather whip. I want to save what hearts I have for the final boss, which is the Leviathan demon. Just take a little extra time here. I'll just use the whip, and eventually I'll get him. I should have upgraded the whip, but it is what it is. Oh, I got caught. Okay, that was my stupidity. I tried to jump forward and I ended up jumping in one place. Be patient here and whittle him down a little at a time. One more, and okay. I want to switch back to Sypha now for the third boss, because the lightning magic will come in very handy here. And this is the Leviathan demon. will start to shoot fireballs at me. Should be right. Oh yeah, okay. And I got caught. Oh man, that sucks. But we'll get back there. Fortunately, I will get the lightning magic again. I want to get my whip upgraded this time. I can quit taking damage. Okay, so I want to switch back to Sypha now. Lightning. Now I want to switch back to Trevor, so I can make sure I get my whip upgraded. Okay. It's unfortunate that they don't give you a wall meet before you fight the boss, but it is what it is. Okay, I have 22 hearts, so I'll have to make that do. Same strategy, stand up here, and we throw our blue raspberry gumballs at the mummies. Okay, I want to switch back to Trevor for the Cyclops fight. And my whip is not only longer now, but will do more damage, so this won't take as long. Still have to be very patient though, because we don't want him to get on top of us. If you stand up on this platform, he won't do his usual pause and run attack. And if you're patient, he won't be able to do any damage to you. Hit and run strategy for this. Okay, now let's switch back to Sypha for the Leviathan, and we should be able to take him out this time. That one did a lot more damage. Hit multiple gumballs. Hit him. Now I'm not going to be able to look at these things as anything but gumballs. Okay, it takes care of the Leviathan. And now we will be moving on to a very familiar looking level. If you played the original Castlevania, you will recognize this right off the bat, and it even has some familiar music. Okay, I want to keep my lightning magic, even though there is another area that I will be able to get it back if I were to lose it. But I definitely want to have, you definitely want to have the lightning for the boss of this level, which is the Grim Reaper. He is extremely difficult to deal with if you don't have Sypha's lightning magic. I can defeat him with Trevor and the cross, but it is much, much more difficult. These axe knights are a pain. worried about that money bag. Secret heart there. That axe coming very handy right there. Take care of that skeleton. I won't have to fight him. Be a wall meat. Yep. And as soon as I get full health, I get hit. Ugh. God, this game's brutal. That, and I just make some stupid mistakes sometimes. Take care of this guy while I'm down here. Okay, got an extra life. Double shot appeared, but unfortunately I can't get to it before it disappears. Oh, he's back. I thought I got rid of you for good, but you respawned, didn't you? Okay, we are on to the final leg of this hallway. I have a double shot in the axe, but I don't know if I want to keep that or get the cross, which should be in that candle. I think I'm going to go with the cross, but I'm not going to fight Death as Trevor. I'm going to be using Sypha. I'll switch to her now, so I can get rid of this knight that's up ahead. And we are at the boss of this level, which is the Grim Reaper. This level is not very long at all. Nice throwback to the NES, or the original Castlevania game, so we even get some familiar music. What you want to do is, you want to stand here, wait for those scythes to materialize fully, and then throw your lightning, and you will get rid of him pretty easily, even though I took a lot of damage. Here, his second form just rotates around and around, and as long as you have the lightning, pretty easy to take care of. This is the only part of the game where I found Alucard's attacks to be pretty effective, is with that particular boss battle against the Grim Reaper. And we're moving on to what I consider probably the hardest level in the game. Definitely the hardest level in the game when you take Sypha's path. There are some pretty difficult levels when you take Alucard's path, but we did not get to see any of those because I chose to use Sypha. Try to find the double and triple shot. So I'm going to be throwing my cross at the candles to try to get them to spawn. Catch these flea men as they drop. We don't want them hopping around. And if that cross had not come back and hit him, then he would have been on top of me. This part coming up is pretty difficult. Probably going to be using Sypha for that with the lightning. Hopefully we get through this without taking much damage. It's very reminiscent of the screen we went through earlier with the bone pillars on the side, but now we have gargoyles to contend with as well. Okay, so I got rid of that one. Ooh, that was close. Okay, so doing good so far, but I'm running out of hearts. Try to avoid that one. That part is very difficult unless you do what I just did with the lightning magic. If you just have Trevor, then you have to time your steps. Every step up you have to time it. So I'm out of hearts now. I'm going to have to switch to Trevor. But yeah, just another example of Sypha being an extremely major ace to have. Was that screen right there. And we get a little bit of a break before we get to our next scrolling screen, which is a little more difficult than the last two. I want to try to keep the lightning magic for the boss battle of this level as well. And which is the doppelganger. It is an exact double of whatever character you're using. If you're using Trevor, then you will be fighting Trevor. And if you're using any of the other characters, likewise. So one up right here. See if I can get to it without dying. And okay, I got it. Keep on the move here while still being very careful. If the screen catches up to you, it will kill you. And these little fuzz balls will catch you too if you're not careful. Okay, there's the end of this scrolling screen. Whew. Okay, we made it to the end. Now we just gotta not get hit by these little fuzz balls. And one of the most difficult parts in the game is just beyond that door. And right here's a wall meat. Oh, I really don't like this part. There's water to deal with, pushing you back. There's fishmen, there's birds. The birds are really what make this part really difficult. There's that one. Let's see if we can make it to here where we can get some safety. Okay. I am actually running up on an hour, which is my time limit on my video here, and if I do make it to 60 minutes, I will be uploading this playthrough in 2 different parts. So I'm going to try to at least make it to the boss and defeat this boss, and I will do the final level in a separate video. Okay, so make sure I did a lot better there than what I normally do. I didn't take any damage, and here we are at the doppelganger. And what you want to do is, if you have Sypha and the lightning magic, just stand right here and throw the lightning at the doppelganger, and very easy boss battle. If you do not have that, then this doppelganger is a major pain in the ass. Okay, I'm going to stop this now. and I will be doing the last level in another video.